We have reached the part of the podcast where we're going to be talking about UFC 287, and we have a podcast virgin coming out of the show. He's not a virgin in much, but we have a podcast virgin. My man Kyle, aka the DFS Bachelor. Kyle, how you doing today, my man?
I'm good, man. You're right. I've been reborn and I am now a virgin. My life would be a whole lot easier if I was. I'll tell you that right now.
Well,
Jesus.
There is the podcast After Dark, and maybe we can get in a little bit of that, those conversations, because I'm sure you and I could. There's few people I feel I can shoot the shit with and can outdo me in the story, and I feel you're in that category, my friend.
I got some bad ones. But I don't know. I don't like hang out with Kevin Durant and stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Oh, dude, you know what? He's not as cool as you think, dude. He's not as cool.
Right. Actually, I know that. I know someone who actually hung out with him too. I know he's not as cool as that, but nonetheless, I digress.
Now, before we start talking about UFC, I do need to plug the MLB show that you do every day, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, with Bet USA. Phenomenal show. I've tuned into it myself. Why don't you tell everyone what you do on the show and the format and everything?
Yeah, well, and really, it's all the guys behind the scenes that make it look all cool, and I just go out there and try to not look as ridiculous as possible. But we go over our favorite picks Monday through Friday. Myself, the experts will switch out, and it'll be myself every Monday through Friday at BetUS TV. You can go to BetUS on Twitter, BetUS on YouTube, BetUSTV.com. You can watch it all over there Monday through Friday. Show's going really well. Keep track of our records. You can see all that stuff as well. We break down our best bets throughout the week over at BetUS. We have a lot of fun there.
Great show. If you guys are listening to this or watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure you get over there, give Kyle a follow, and give BetUS a follow. But we're here to talk UFC. Basically, Kyle and I are going to tell you we each have two bets we really like. We're going to tell you what we're betting and why. Kyle, you're the guest. I'll let you kick off first, my friend.
Yeah, I'm going to start with the co-main event, and I love me some Gilbert Durinho Burns here. Look, he just has more paths to victory than does Masvidal. You can get the Masvidal by knockout prop at plus 650 if you're betting Masvidal. That's the only way. He's got to land that miracle shot, but he does not have the ground game to hang out with Burns at all. I think Burns is probably a little bit better in the stand-up. Burns has really worked on his stand-up ever since he moved from 155 to 170. He's been an absolute monster. You saw the fight with Khamzat Chimaev. It was the toughest fight by far of Chimaev's career. A lot of people think Burns even was able to plot a victory. I don't think that. I do think that Chimaev won the fight, but it really improved his stock. But this guy's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I think he gets the fight to the ground. He knows that Masvidal is dangerous in his backyard, a lot of emotion. The Battle of Miami, both these guys are from Miami. I took Burns by submission plus 225. I just don't think that Masvidal has anything to offer him on the ground. Burns gets this fight down to the ground. And I wish it was a 5-round fight. I really do, but I think he gets it done inside the distance here by submission plus 225.
You know what? My first bet, and I have basically the same bet, but I did Burns inside the distance, so that win by TKO, KO, or submission minus 110. Look, I love me some street Jesus. I love Jorge. He was one of my favorite fighters when he had that run in 2019, beating Till, beating Ben Askren and Diaz. But then he took that Usman fight on short notice. That was insane how he's able to fly out there, cut that weight, got KO'd by Usman, and then didn't look that impressive against Covington. Now he's saying if he loses, he's done. Like, does he have a foot out the door?
He's made enough money. And you saw the Colby fight, right?
Yeah.
What did Colby do? Took him down to the ground.
Exactly.
And smothered him on the ground, and he couldn't get up. And then, of course, you had the incident in the streets of Miami. Colby talked a little bit too much shit. Masvidal came up and sucker punched him from behind. Colby hasn't fought since. Now, apparently, he's going to fight for the title. Masvidal's a little bit crazy, right? And he kind of loses his cool a little bit. Since that baddest mother effer title fight with Diaz, the sham belt fight, it's just, you see the limitations in his game. The game's kind of passed him by a little bit. It wouldn't shock me if he retired.
I think he's
especially if he loses convincingly.
And you and I have talked about it when we've talked UFC before. These fighters that are going into their last fight, they have that foot out the door. They tend to, give up the takedown a little easier. You know what I mean? A little quicker to tap. I think this is a swan song. My worry is, and I was going to play the submission, I just can't get that knockout loss against Usman out of my head. I'm a little worried about his chin. That's why I played the indecision.
The
But
rainbows, the sparkly sweat. It was it was a picturesque moment, right, where the sweat flies throughout the entire octagon and they capture it in slow motion. I love how you called Ben Askren Ben Askrew, by the way, because he is just a screw. Of course, his fastest knockout in UFC history, that flying knee came out and dropped him, and that was essentially it for Ben Askren. But certainly in the UFC, anyways. But yeah, Ben Askrew, because he does have a screws. He was terrible.
yeah,
And
but I mean
that was him. That was his career. That was the highlight that put him to all that made him all this money, was that flying knee knockout of Ben Askren.
yeah, and that was 2019 and it's 2023 now. He's done. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He's done. I feel Burns is in his prime. You know, I feel after this fight, Burns is going to be in line for a title shot. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think this is going to be the fight that gets him over the hump. Now we're going to shift our attention to our last bet. Kyle, what is your next bet, my friend?
One of my favorite fighters in the UFC, the action man, Chris Curtis. He's taking on Kelvin Gastelum. I like Chris Curtis here. It's only a 3-round fight. I think this goes to decision. I like Chris Curtis to win this by decision at plus 225. Again, look, Kelvin Gastelum used to be one of the top guys in this division, no doubt about it, but he's lost 4 of his last 5. His only win in those 5 fights was against Ian Heinisch. A couple of 5-round decision losses. He's got the cardio, but I think the volume alone, if Chris Curtis can stop the takedowns, which he has fantastic takedown defense, Kelvin Gastelum's going to be outmatched on the feet. I think Chris Curtis outworks him for 3 rounds, gets the decision. You get that at plus 225.
I love it. Absolutely, positively love it. My last one, and Kyle always gives me shit. I am a low-level women's MMA specialist, and
so funny.
But this one,
I can't. I just can't do them anymore unless I'm just betting the underdog. Women's MMA, just I too many arm bars from guard for me. Ugh, just can't.
This one I feel is a step up though, because it's a little bit up the card. I'm going with Michelle Waterson Gomez. Is that what she's calling herself now?
The karate hottie. The karate hottie herself.
Yeah. I'm going her by decision though at plus 200. I feel that's the only way she can win the fight. Look, I know she's 1-4 in her last 5, but when you just look at who she's fought, my girl Hill, Double J, Espadez, Rodriguez, and Amanda Lemons, dude, that's a pretty high level. Luna is definitely a step down in competition. I know she can grapple, but I think Michelle will be able to keep this standing. And then with the volume of punches that she throws and Luna not being able to get her head off center, I think she's just going to out-volume her. Plus, she's susceptible to the leg kick, which Michelle has a very phenomenal leg kick. I just feel keeping standing, the volume, and the leg kick, I think Michelle is going to get back on get another win. Her only path is decision. I locked in plus 200 decision.
Am I seeing Luana Pinheiro is sneaky hot here? This might be a sneaky hot fight here between 2 hot gals here. I don't mind. I'm just looking at some pictures here, but Luana Pinheiro, this might just be a must see TV over at my house for tomorrow's main event.
And one of the things that Kyle and I secretly do is, and maybe one of these weeks I'll be able to get Kyle to come on, and we'll do our top 5 Instagram follows of MMA. Top 5 Instagram follows. You know what? Actually, I think that's something people actually like. You know, maybe.
Yeah, I already have my list ready. I have my list ready already. I already know exactly who is up there.
I'll tell you what. I'm looking at her gram right now, dude.
Not bad, right? Like, I'm just saying. I'm thinking Luana Pinheiro sneaky hot. We just didn't know about it.
You know what? And I don't mean to be superficial. I'm not a fan of the dirty blonde look.
Oh, okay, dude. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how far we're even allowed to go with this conversation. Are we even allowed to do a top 5 hot gals in? Well, maybe I'll sneak a guy in there like Adrian Yanez or something. Maybe I'll sneak Dustin Poirier on there or something. I don't know.
Maybe we could find it next time I'm able to get you to come on. Maybe we can find it where we'll do our little, or maybe we'll do an Instagram follow of the week, something like that.
I like that.
You and I will talk it up.
Absolutely.
Kyle, I'd like to thank you for coming on. Everyone listening and watching, please make sure you give my boy Kyle a follow at the DFS Bachelor on Twitter. And I promise everyone he will step up his Instagram game so you can see that pretty face.
Eventually. Oof, I'm bad at that.
Thanks for coming on, man. We'll talk soon, dude.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, brother. Good luck, everyone.